How do you solve the issue of security, Royce? Kom vertel ons bietjie asseblief. Because I want to demonstrate that we don't need all this fancy word of manifesto. We're gonna do this and then it's very simple. How do you fix crime?
29 May, you vote for #Hope for SA.
Yeah.
And we are the kingmakers.
Yeah.
And Roy Strauss become the Minister of Police.
Okay.
And then
Wat gaan jy doen?
What will I do?
Yeah. If now you come in, you are a Minister of Police. Roy Strauss is now the nieuwe Minister of Police. What will you do?
Okay. Let me first state this. No?
Yeah.
I'm here if I must have that nearby. You are the servant leader and I'm the deputy, so we can walk very close to one another.
Yes.
Okay.
Maar you mustn't kiss me, please.
But listen now. People laugh when it starts with a joke, this Minister of Police thing. Listen to me. If the charter pack of the DA and all that parties, and then the ANC this side, and the MK and the EFF, let me only make this sum. We will be more than 2, but I only make this sum.
Yeah.
That the charter pack be 199 seats in Parliament, and the ANC is 199 seats in Parliament. And me and John is only from #Hope, only 2. There's 400 people in Parliament. They cannot vote for a president, the charter pack. The ANC cannot vote for a president because it is skalkmat. Then we are kingmakers. And we will not go in coalition because our values is too important for us. But we will make a contract and said, okay, give me the Minister of Police post and a young president post to him. And then we will start operating. Now we can do something. That is only to say, okay, now I'm the Minister of Police.
Yeah.
What must I do?
What do you start with?
The first thing, okay, pray and do planning the first 2 days. But then, we already do planning in some areas. I take the police, bring back the special units, bring immediately the army around a town. Then the army, then you go in with the special forces around the smugglers. And you go in with the drug squad police. And every town, in 6 months, you go through South Africa, you clean up. That is the first thing. On Eskom, we sent immediately our task force there with the army. We lock up immediately the corrupt people, and then we start the courts. The next morning, not 6 years or 20 years to take Zuma to jail. The next morning, they must start with the trials. And then that is only the beginning. Then only one thing I want to mention. The drug addict, not the smuggler, the drug addict, your child that is 16, 18, that is on drugs. If we arrest him, he got a record. They don't get work anymore. So the first time we arrest him, we take him for 6 months to a camp. A Christian camp, but he worked very hard. The court sent him there, but without a record. Then he come back, and the second time we caught him, we arrest him, it is 12 months. And then if he go on, he got a record. A smuggler with a lot of drugs must the penalty, the death penalty. Somebody who molest a child, death penalty. Somebody, so that is only the, you can go.
So Reyes have given us so much. But you see, he was in the police. He understands, he knows what's happening in that police. I get there. Oh. Yeah, I clipped myself. Yeah, that must be easier. So, and this is very important. And one of the things that I will add on that, Royce, is that you deal with corrupt police people. because there's a lot of corruption and the police are working with criminals. Remember, when you come in, you need to bring in your people. You need to bring in people you can trust, head of departments, that you can say, listen, we're going to now do the cleanup. You need to have a tough skin. You need to have a backbone. You cannot back off from this. And we will call those good men and good women that's got an experience. We still have people in South Africa that has got a expertise. I mean, I met one of the ex-intelligent police when I was in Pretoria. And the government, the police department is still consulting him. When they want to investigate somebody that they cannot touch internally, they call him. He is investigating top guys in the politicians, in the police, those that are set there by the political positions. People like that, why do you have somebody like that? You know you need him. Why don't you bring that guy in? You give him a position, a high position, and you say, you make sure that no corruptions happen here in this department. But now he's outside, they are consulting him. Why? They don't want to bring him in because he's white. It's color of his skin. We can't have more white people in the system. But then when you have a problem, you go and you pay a lot of money to consult the same guy that knows the job. And this is not a black and white thing. We also have black people and colored people who are they've got an expertise. But because they will not stand for corruption, they don't want them in the system. They only use them when they want to get rid of one of these people. And once they've done the job, and then they are out. But then you'll find that the guy that comes in, he's actually now aligned with the guy who hired the consultant. So the corruption continues to go. And we are saying, if you want to solve the problem of water, the problem of police, the security, we have enough experts in our country that we can bring them in. We also have a lot of people in the system that are very knowledgeable, but they are not promoted. Guess who's getting promotions in the government system? The guy who doesn't know the job. I've seen it. I was in the municipality. You will be so surprised to see that there is a man who's so knowledgeable. In the municipality that I was serving as a councillor, we had a guy that was heading up LED, local economic development. Very experienced, knowledgeable. He's coming from a family of business generations. I mean, his dad, back in the apartheid, his father owned buses in the township. That's where this man is coming from. He's knowledgeable. They bring him in, but they don't give him the position to be the director. They put in the guy who doesn't have the qualifications. He faked and bought the qualifications. We had to get rid of him. But even after we got rid of the guy because his qualifications, he didn't have the qualifications, they refused to promote this guy, who could have turned around the economy of our municipality. That is what we are sitting with. We need people with expertise, and they are still in our country. And some of them are even leaving our country and they're going elsewhere because there is no opportunities for them. And we are saying as #Hope for South Africa, when we come in, we know exactly what to do. The solutions are not complicated. Professionalize the municipality. Make sure that you train people. You put people in the places where they are supposed to be. Those who are managers who are not supposed to be managers, you have to demote them, or else they must leave the system. Bring in the right people in. And we have so many other points that we have deliberated on. For an example, In service delivery, excellent service delivery. The reason why we don't see service delivery happening on the ground, because that's where actually the government is visible in the local government. If local government is not working, the whole government is not working. But you know why it's not working? It's because 50% of the tax distribution in government is allocated for national. 40% of that is provincial. You know how much comes to the local government? With all your grants and everything that comes from national, only 10%. So tell me, if that is the picture, will you have enough budget to fix the infrastructure that is aging? You won't. The excuses say municipalities must generate their own revenue through other stuff. We know that is not working because we know in a town like this, and this is a fact, in a town like this, we know who's contributing to the municipality tax and rates. Only in the towns. In the townships, there's nothing that is coming from that, including teachers, policemen, all the professional middle class. They are not paying their rent. And nobody will come and switch off the lights to force them to pay. A lot of people can afford to pay, but you know why? They don't even put pressure. It's because they have said to people, everything is for mahala. And now can you go back and say to the same people that you said everything is for mahala, will you come to them and say, now you have to start to pay? We have fought it in the council to say, yes, we understand there are poor people. You know, you cannot expect a poor person to pay. And that's why the government has what we call indigenous grants, where there is a money allocated that is given to those who cannot afford. And this is applicable in every community, even in the town. We have people that have applied for indigenous, especially the elderly that cannot now afford to pay tax and rates. Then the government must take care of that. But a policeman, a teacher, a middle class, a collarman, he can afford to pay. Why can't he pay? And we fought and we said, these people must pay. There is a system within the municipality to force those people to pay. We can garnish them. We can take their money when they get the money, when they get paid. It can be taken from there, but they don't want to. Because they say, no, these are the members. Most of them are the members of the sofTUBE, you know, Pete, members of different unions. So we will not touch them, because if we touch them, we're going to lose the votes. So what happens? 30,000 people who are living in town alone cannot be able to foot the bill of close to 1 million people in the township. It's impossible. That's why even 10% from national will not change service delivery. What are we proposing? We are proposing a reverse structure. We say 50% must come down to the local government. 40%, and we can work it out. I mean, it doesn't have to, the national doesn't have to get 10%, but at least the big chunk of the tax allocation must come where the service delivery is happening. We must cut off the number of the ministers. There are many ministries that are redundant. And we know they created those ministry posts because they wanted to give employment to their friends. We don't need 24 ministers to run this country. 24. We have 24 ministers to run the country. We are proposing 8 power ministers. 8 ministers in the cabinet. Let them bring all these ministries and departments that speaks to one another, and you have the head of department, HODs, to run those departments, and you have one minister who oversees all of these ministries, and you bundle them. And the number must come to 8. You run the country like that. You cutting on, already you are cutting off of many billions and billions of money that goes to the salary and the PACs, the security unit, by reducing the ministry. Is it the rocket science? It's not. It's a simple, logical thing. That's what you need to do. You just do the opposite. We know countries that are run by few ministers, and they are the best run countries in the world. But we have 24 ministers. We can't even put the lights on. Now they have now brought in a new Ministry of Electricity. We have a Minister of Electricity, Minister of Energy, Minister of... Come on, people. We cannot go on like this. We can see what is happening is fraud before us. But we are allowing it. We are allowing it every day when we are voting. I'm not saying you. I know you are voting right, at least. But we cannot afford to put and to support these kind of people who do not have an interest to our people. We have a president now, as I close, during their birthday party or something. Before the nation, he needs to give a report, what have you done? And the only thing that he can show off is that they have been able to give our people 350. And recently, he threatened the same people he was breaking about and saying, if you don't vote for us, you're not going to get those 350. How pathetic. How pathetic that a man of that age, who's got children, who's got grandchildren, can have an audacity to stand before 57, close to 60 million people in South Africa and say, I am proud that I'm giving 350 to unemployed people. An unemployment that has been caused by them deliberately. Do you know that the ANC has no inclination? And I tell this to everybody. I'm not only just telling you. I'm telling this to everybody, even in the township. They don't have any intention to create jobs. They had millions of opportunities to create jobs. In fact, there are many, hundreds and hundreds of investment and investors who came and proposed from the national level, provincial level, municipal level. I can't begin to tell you how many business people, lawyers. They are simply vote guinea pigs, our people. That's what they have reduced us to. And they have no intention. If you empower, if you give a man a job, or a woman a job, you are empowering them. You know what you are empowering them with? You are empowering them with opinion. And that's not what they want. People who are empowered, they have an opinion, they choose, they want to choose what they eat, where they eat it, at what time they want to eat, and they determine the direction of their communities, they determine the direction of their nation. And that's not what politicians want. They want them to be beggars. Keep on begging. Give them 350 and create a mentality of beggars and entitlement. Young people, I met one young guy, 35 years, and he says, sir, do you know I've never worked in my life? Not because I'm lazy, because I've never had an opportunity to work. Those are the people that they want so that they can control. And that's why as Hashtag of South Africa, we have said, listen, we are not going to wait until we are in government. We are going to go into communities and we are going to impact the lives of young people. We already have programs and projects in place that we want to work with civil movement and NPOs. We want to work with people who say, we want to bring change. We are going to bring change, whether we go into parliament or not. We are not going to stop. Because the battle that we are facing, we are fighting for the soul of this nation.